Hey friends, I have another layout for you, and this time I am using a variety of Felicity Jane things, mainly from the Jane and London kits. I'm going to start out with this stripe pattern paper. I love mint. It's so beautiful. And so of course I have this nice mint and white stripe pattern paper. I'm also going to pull in some black pattern paper that I'm going to use to mount my journaling on. And then I also have a white piece of cardstock that I'm going to use to mount my photos on. So speaking of photos, let me grab those. Here are the two photos I'm going to be scrapbooking, and what I did was I cropped these photos down to 3 by 4, and these are photos of my little one, and she has been trying to learn how to ride her bike. And on this particular day, she was trying and trying and trying and trying, and eventually she did ride it just a little bit, but she was getting frustrated and she kept falling, and she didn't want us to help her, which speaks a lot to her stubbornness. Don't know where she got that from. Anyway, but she wanted to keep trying to ride her bike. And so one of the things that I've learned as a parent is that sometimes you just have to let them try and fail and try again until they get it. So the title of this layout is You Will Fail. And I have this on just a piece of wax paper because I wanted to be able to figure out where I wanted to position it on the layout. So that is the story of this layout. From time to time, not from time to time, but my focus this year is to start focusing on more intentional storytelling. And in fact, I'm going to be developing a class around that. I don't know if it'll launch this year, but certainly next year at the very, very latest. Because I found that in looking back at my layouts, I am not telling stories in a robust way. So when she goes back and she looks at her scrapbooks, or maybe down the road when we're talking about stories, I can pull this out and kind of explain that I wanted her to know from a very young age that you were going to have to work very hard for everything that you do in this life, and that nothing is going to come particularly easy. Well, most things will probably come easy, but there are going to be some things that will not, and that she cannot give up no matter how hard things are. So I want to share the journaling with you, and I think what I'm going to do for layouts like this that are going to be more story focused, I'm going to share the story with you like I did with the holiday project, which, by the way, I need to finish up those videos and get those up there. But I want the storytelling to be incredibly intentional. So here's what I wrote her about this particular day when she was having difficulties learning how to ride her bike without training wheels. The journaling says, "Daughter, you will fail. In fact, you will attempt to do many things in your life. Most will be incredibly successful and others will suck. You will try things that are very hard, like riding a bike. You will try them over and over again because, like your parents, you simply do not give up. You will refuse help because you are stubborn as hell. You might have inherited that trait. And you will fall and pick yourself up. If there is one thing I can impress upon you, it is this: never give up. Even when the odds are stacked against you, you fight. You fight until the bitter end, when your soul is tired and when you feel like you cannot go on. You know why? Because at the end of the struggle comes success. Sometimes, but most of all, you will learn something about yourself. You will grow and add to your repertoire of skills that you think you never possessed. You will know better for next time. You will learn that you can stretch yourself beyond unreasonable limits, and you will learn humility. On this day, you attempted to ride your bike without training wheels. You struggled, you cried, you pitched a fit. But you got back on your bike and you tried until you got it. Then a day later, with a bit of peer pressure from the neighborhood kids, you did it again. See? We told you that you could do it. Never give up, sweet girl. Never give up." I truly believe that scrapbooking is a great way to impart some wisdoms to those who are coming after us. So whether it's your own child, maybe it's another family member, whatever messages that you want to leave behind, do it in a robust way. And I truly, truly believe this to be beneficial in our storytelling journey. All right, I'm going to speed up the video and get this layout done. Alrighty, so time to first mount the photos in the journaling. I'm going to use some black cardstock to mount the journaling on. And I'm not going to get this exactly precisely straight, mainly because the journaling is cut out a little bit wonky, and so that kind of throws me off. The black cardstock, however, I don't have it trimmed. I just wanted like a slight black, but it ended up being a little bit wider. But that's okay. Minor detail, I'm just going to kind of roll with it. Now, I selected black because black makes things stand out on a layout, particularly if you're using soft colors. Now, I'm using a tab from the cut apart sheet that comes with the kit. It's printed on sticky back paper, so that's convenient. I was looking at some stamps there to decide what I want to put on the tab. Later, I'm going to add Corinne's age. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mount the photos. Again, printed those 4x3. And I'm going to mount those on some white cardstock just so they show up on the page. There's a lot of muted colors on this layout, which I really, really like. I'm deciding how I want to position those photos, where I want to put the journaling, and then ultimately I wanted some separation between the photos and the journaling, so I'm going to put the title right there in the middle of the layout. And this is one of my go-to designs, particularly if I want to add a ton of journaling on my layout, focusing on the story. Now it's time to layer. I'm going to use a doily that came with the Jane kit. And now I'm going to add some layers of 3x4 pattern papers behind the photos. And I think at least one of those, or maybe two of them, were a part of the 3x4 cut apart sheet, if I remember correctly. I'm going to go ahead and mount my photos on there, just creating a cluster. And this makes it a lot easier to move the cluster around the page, particularly when you're doing layering. And you saw me adhere all of that using my Tombow Mono and a little bit of washi tape to hold it all in place. Now it's time to get everything in order. I'm going to put some foam right behind the photos. And I got asked one time if this foam, which you can just get at your craft store, I think they call it fun foam or whatever, asked if it was archival, and the type that I purchased is archival, so I'm not worried about it fading over time. Now I'm going to add my title, of course, as You Will Fail, and I'm using two different exclusive fonts from Felicity Jane. Both my favorite. They have just the best font stickers ever. Love it. And then got that all glued down. Now I want to add my journaling. Get that positioned there at the bottom. Now, I could have typed directly on the layout if I wanted to, but usually when I'm doing a lot of robust journaling, I like to type it out using Microsoft Word versus my typecast typewriter. Now I'm going to add a strip there at the bottom. That's one of the border strips to one of the pattern papers. I believe it's the border strip to that mint green paper, if I remember. Just to add a bit of separation there and just some interest. And then I needed a spot to put the date. So I'm going to use this little label that's a part of the cut apart sheet as well. Again, all exclusive to the Felicity Jane kit. I see this other cute little tab, and it has a little heart and a little faux staple that's going through the heart there, and I thought that'd be great to add a little detail there at the top because I felt it needed something. And I'm going to add this hello sticker as well as this little banner of hearts, and that's a little die cut banner, which is super, super cute. We got one with hearts, and I'm trying to remember the other one off the top of my head. I think we got two of those. I think one's hearts and one's stars. I can't remember. Now I wanted to bring a little bit of attention to that particular photo of my little one. And I took it from behind, and this is when she was about to fall. And I thought that would be perfect to sort of highlight that in the topic of this layout, because she did fall several times while trying to ride her bike. Mainly, she was just kind of getting in her own way. She could have done it, but, you know, when you're trying to learn something, you know, you fell a few times, and she just kept throwing her bike down, and she was getting so upset. And she didn't want our help, so we just let her do what she does. But I thought that frame just perfectly accents her trying to get this all figured out with riding her bike without her training wheels. Now I'm going to take this cut apart sticker here. I'm going to turn it into a die cut by mounting it on some white cardstock, just so it's a little bit firm. As I want to place it there on the left hand side of the photo where she is on her bike and riding it just a little bit there. Add some little foam strips to the back to get some height and presence to that hello. I just needed something there to the side. And I'm going to add this other little chipboard piece that says dream. And really has nothing to do with the layout, but I like the shape and the color. At least the topic of the layout, so you know how I do. Now I want to stamp a sentiment on this other little cutout here, again from the sticker sheet, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment that says, one day at a time. And I kept telling her, you know, baby girl, you have to keep practicing riding your bike or else you're not going to get good at it. And it's just going to take one day at a time. So I thought this would be perfect for that. I'm using some VersaFine ink to stamp that on, and black. And there you go. And plus I wanted something else that was sort of kind of a scripty font to go on the other side too. So I felt that was perfect to balance out that large hello that's on the left-hand side. So if you're ever stuck in your design, try to repeat the same elements as much as you can. Going to add a bit of foam to the back of that and adhere it to the side, and I think that looks good. That kind of balance out both sides there, if you kind of think of it as a scale. So that looks really, really good. All right, nice and balanced, good to go. Now I want to stamp the date. So I'm taking my Heidi Swapp roller date stamp that I use pretty much on every layout. And I didn't remember the exact date and I was too lazy to look it up, so I just stamped March 2017. Now I'm taking these little tiny wood mount stamps that I found in the impulse section at Michael's. I have them stored in those little glass jars. That, by the way, I found at the Target Dollar Spot last year. Super cool. Got 3 of those. And I'm going to attempt to stamp the word age. And I'm going to take another stamp, a number stamp that says 7, so it says age 7, but I don't stamp straight with wood mount stamps at all. So it ends up wonky, and I don't like the way that it looks. So I'm going to stamp it on some white cardstock and try it again. And it's okay. Nothing has to be perfect, but you know what? If you don't like it, just do it over and move on with life, right? So I'm stamping age 7. And I'm going to go ahead and trim that out, and I'm going to cover that tab where I felt that it didn't look good with the new image that I stamped out on the white cardstock. Add some Tombow Mono to the back of that and add it on, and no one knows the wiser, except for you guys. All right, so here is the final layout. Robust storytelling. Oh, by the way, I did a little bit of stapling at the bottom with the date with my tiny attacher. I love the story. I love the way that the layout came together. I love the colors. Felicity Jane kits are just beautiful. They're clean and they make for some beautiful layouts. So make sure you check it out. And for more information about this layout, I'll have some info on my blog either today or later on, either Friday or this weekend. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you want to check out more videos, and I will see you guys next time.